In Europe, Victor Schauberger's vortex experiments during the 1930s resulted in an advanced understanding of how the spiraling motions inherent in all natural systems reverse the effects of entropy. By studying the properties of inwardly spiraling water, he created an implosion generator that concentrated electrical charge.
No sound, just glowing white light that was doing this.
Did it look solid, or did it look kind of translucent?
It looked, once it got that close to us, it looked almost, it was blinding from the light. But at a distance, it looked like an egg. It's hard to tell it was translucent because of the light coming off of the thing. But it was definitely shifted from a red ball of fire to a football or an egg or a tic-tac.
We connected up the printed circuit and played once again the videotape that Sir William Ballantyne, before his death, had sent to his friend John Hendry. This time, we obtained an acceptable picture, which you are now about to see as we saw it. We believe that to be an authentic record of the first and secret landing on Mars by an unmanned space probe from Earth. We also believe the date given, May the 22nd, 1962, to be accurate.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to another edition of Alien Addict on this fine and luxurious day. And it's a fine and luxurious day because you're here with me. If you're having a shit day, don't worry. I'm going to make it better for you. The best I can. Trying to make it entertaining. I've got some funny videos to show. So, yeah, what a exciting episode I've got for today. I'd like to thank everyone in chat. Let's bring up chat. Because we've got the regulars here. Who we got here? Rotary Motion. How's it going? David Williams, welcome on in. Rogue Trooper. Alien Addict, who's this? John Strokes, how's it going, bruv? Who else we got here? Rebecca, how's it going? You're becoming regular now. Thanks for being on here. I do appreciate you being there. Todd, you new to the channel, mate? I think. I haven't seen that name before, but welcome on in. Hangs tight. Evening, how are you doing? I think that is everyone. Have I missed everyone? No, I think that is everyone. I think one more, maybe. Sheep up. How's it going? So, yeah, I've got a mixed bag today on Alien Addict. Back when Alien Addict was with Ollie, Lee, and Dave, we tend to stick down just like one topic. We will go through like different topics and stuff like that. But this, I like to jam pack like a lot of stuff in. So today, what I've got, it's, like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So we were talking about Victor Schauberger and his flying disc that he created for the Germans in World War II. And he did create that for the Germans, but we'll get into that. We've got a Chris Bloodsoe video to go through, the secret Mars landing. And I might have just a tiny little bit of a bitch later on about something, because I had a conversation with somebody today that just kind of drove me up the wall a little bit. So we'll get to that. It's something to do up in the sky, but I've got a speaking code for that. So yeah, we'll get to that bit later. And we'll check out the latest UFO stuff and paranormal videos as well. Well, I've got some photographs, some really good, interesting ones. I found on Facebook, which I kind of detest really, to be honest with you, but I found a really good paranormal, it's not a website, it's a page on Facebook that has 500,000 views, no, 500,000 subscribers or likes, whatever it is on this page. And it has a lot of fake stuff. And I think a lot of people on this page is actually kind of like taking the piss a little bit, sort of putting like fake stuff, but some of it's pretty good. And I've got a lot to show that a bit later. So it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag today. So first things first, I want to go talk about Victor Schauberger. And I've got to give a shout out to, I'll tell you what, before we do anything, let's shout out to the boys at the Daily Conspiracy Podcast on Spotify. Monday to Friday, because reptilians don't take days off. I love that quote. Love it. So yeah, go check the boys out. Somebody mentioned in the Hidden Underbelly comment section that, oh, Alien Addict's not the same without Ollie, which I understand. I understand. Is embrace change, my friend. Embrace change. But I will say this: Ollie, Lee, and Dave will come back as like guests at some point. We are talking about it. It's just when they go 5 days a week talking about conspiracies, I don't know, man. I spoke to Ollie about this. It's like, if you're new to like conspiracies or the alternative movement, you get sucked down in like this rabbit hole, which is fair. You know, I've done that like many, many times. And I think it can take a hold. When I say take a hold, it can get a bit too much, especially if you've got like a sensitive mind. I mean, if you look at like, for instance, Dave from Alien Addict, you know, he's very strong-minded. Same with Lee. No offense, Ollie, but if you're watching, but it's if you've got a strong mindset, I think you'd be able to cope with conspiracies a bit more better. For me, it gets a bit too much, man. DW, how's it going, man? Welcome on in. S23, nice to be here. Thanks for being here, bruv. Yeah, so it depends on the person. If you're just having fun with it, that's all good. But at the same time, if it's keeping you up at night, maybe it's time to like move on a little bit. So yeah, let's get back to my brother from another mother. Where is he to? And I've got this on there. Is it going to pop up? Hopefully. I've got a screen here to make sure everything's working right. It's up. Okay, fantastic. So on Wednesday, me and Hidden went live and we were talking about Operation High Jump. And someone in the comment section, right, was, I won't say having a little bitch, but he was talking about Victor Schauberger. I'm going to make this a bit bigger, actually, with me in it. There we go. Hold on. Which one should I choose? Which one should I choose? Oh, I'll just stick it with that, whatever. So someone in the comment section started talking about Victor Schauberger and red plasma. And I was like, hold on a minute, that's a bit like confusing, because Victor Schauberger created this device, this disc-shaped device for the Germans. But the red liquid, or the red mercury liquid that this person was talking about in the comment section, is actually to do with deglocker. And I hate to be one of these people that corrects people for their, like, I wouldn't say it's just sort of misinformation that's been put out there, but I'm going to do this today. Just a one-off. I hate to be that person. Like, oh, you got that wrong, mate. I'm going to correct you on that. Can't stand those dicks. But unfortunately, I'm going to be one of those people. But I'm going to be nice today. But I thought, let's talk about Victor Schauberger, because it kind of links into like German UFOs, which I'm planning to do the middle of this month. Just an episode, like one part episode is going to be, I've got so much information on it. So that'll be coming up. So it kind of links into that. Very interesting concept about Victor Schauberger. But if you can, please like and subscribe to my good friend Hidden Underbelly. We go live every couple of weeks, and it is a great laugh. Shall I mention it? Ooh, shall I mention it? So a friend of mine goes, this stuff's too strong. I'm giving it to you. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. And it was about half an hour before we went live. I was like, Eden, mate. I'm like, I'm wrecked. So if you want to see me 420'd hard, go check out Operation High Jump. I think I pull it off quite well. But my God, that was touch and go. That's scary. It's like, woo! Especially reading as well. But I'm a lot better today. So let's get that off the screen. And let's get on to today's episode. which is all about Victor Schauberger. And let's bring him up, because I'm going to educate everyone today on a man that's not really known about in terms of like creating a new propulsion system. And this is guy here, Victor Schauberger, who was an Austrian forest worker, inventor, and philosopher, and he's best known for his unconventional theories on field of hydrodynamics and natural energy systems. This is what's getting interesting, because the title of this episode today is The Power of Water. And this is what Victor Schauberger did. He, in the propulsion, that's it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Just a little bit. I'm not going to dedicate like too much into this, because I want to delve into the German flying saucers. But I think it's worth actually bringing up, because it's still quite interesting what he managed to build, and whether or not it actually flew or not. That's the other thing. So Victor Schauberger, he grew up in Austria, and he dealt in, well, his family worked in the forestry, and I think he lived in the forest as well, I believe. So he was outside the city limits. So he's basically in nature, and he was fascinated how like water would like trickle down like the river. So he spent a majority of his life sort of studying nature and the rivers, and especially how like trout used to like go upstream. But this is a very interesting concept. Okay, I think it's worth bringing up. That, have I got a photograph here? I should do. I've got so much stuff. Ooh, and it's not in order. Oh my God, Nick, you should be more professional than this. So what Victor Schauberger did, he started to study rivers, or even a lake. Okay. And if you can imagine, if I put me up a bit bigger, that's what she said. So if you can imagine, you've got a river, okay, going down, and you've got a rock. And if the water goes over, imagine the water going over the rock and basically go straight ahead. But it doesn't do that. It'll actually go over, and it would actually do like a turn in, like a little vortex. And this is what Victor Schauberger found out, is that the water doing that spiraling motion will actually propel fish, especially trout, up the river. I don't know if you've seen those videos of trout where they're actually like flying up into like the next canopy up the river or a lake, whatever. And he was studying how this sort of implied into sort of physics, and then eventually applied that spiraling motion into a device that may or may not have flown, which was called, what Rebecca says, the propulsion, which is an interesting device. So there's very different concepts behind this. And let's bring up a video, because I'm crap at explaining stuff the best I can. Right, which one should we bring up first? Let's bring up... Just trying to think what the best video to put on. Engineering. Maybe that one? Let's try that.
This allows energy to be produced from water.
Okay, right. Anyway, well, we'll skip ahead anyway. We'll skip ahead. So what happened in the 1930s? No, I tell you what, I just realized I got the right video, which is UFO Secrets of the Third Reich. There we go. So this documentary is all about German flying saucers. You can find this on my YouTube channel, The Cosmic Twilight. And it does mention Victor Schauberger in here. So let's just play this clip. And I hope I don't get copyrighted. Do you know how many copyrights I got on my last video? 3. Flipping 3. 2 of them with Joe Rogan. And I said that. I said Joe Rogan copyrights. Yeah, so yeah, I'd like to thank Joe Rogan. Yeah, enjoy your millions of pounds. You can peddle your Lou Elizondo and your George Knapp and bloody Corbell giving a fake disclosure. Oh, that pisses me off, innit? So yeah, enjoy your money, mate. It's just... Anyway, I'm blabbing on because I could go on about it. But anyway, this is all about Victor Schauberger.
Another advocate of this new technology was Victor Schauberger. Your propulsion theory is a mistake. This statement was made by inventor Victor Schauberger, who was believed to be associated with these esoteric societies. It addresses one of the essential points of the issue. Nowadays, we would call this the search for an alternative form of energy. Back then, however, there was much more at stake, namely the quest for another science, a radically different technology. To put it simply, we could say implosion instead of explosion. The positive elements among the esoteric scholars of the Third Reich were aware that all divine creations have always been creative, never destructive. A technology which results in explosions and is based on the principle of destruction cannot therefore really be in keeping with divine intentions. All internal combustion engines, for example, whether piston engines or rocket propulsion systems, work on the principle of an explosion. In other words, with destructive capabilities. Their ultimate effect is sure to be destructive. The environmental damage, meanwhile, visited on the planet by the technology of explosion, including atomic energy, exhaust fumes, and so on, makes it quite clear that the call for a new technology, like the one under discussion back then, is clearly justified. Victor Schauberger's experimental flying prototypes worked on the principle of levitation. Esoteric knowledge played an ever-increasing role in the search for new sources of energy and motive power. Such research as there was particularly important in the development of electrogravitational and tachometric propulsion. This seemed to be at the very core of the alternative technology. The energy source of the future, cheap, clean, and independent of raw materials. Two special departments, U-13 and SSE-4, were set up to concentrate exclusively on the realization of this new technology.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there, right? Yeah, Hidden was so stoned on that when they show, so was I. So, yeah, he's recovered, mate. He's recovered. But the reason why I showed this documentary, okay, because it puts some very valuable points. You can start to see where Victor Schauberger, which I'll talk about his device in a minute, wasn't linked into like anti-gravity flying saucers. As you can see here in the video, you got the Haunebu flying saucer, Haunebu 2. So I'm going to show you where the conspiracy really took off about Victor Schauberger creating anti-gravity. Well, I guess it is anti-gravity when you look at it. In a way, I should have mentioned implosion theory. Okay, so in this video, was talking about explosion, which is using like a car engine or rocket propulsion systems. Basically, if anyone knows how like a car works or car engine, basically you got the piston, you get the fuel goes in, the spark happens, it creates like a mini explosion, which pushes the piston down, comes back up, sparks again, fires, and so basically that's what it's doing. It's like it's going like that, like basically the car's jacking off to a certain extent, but it's actually exploding when you look at it. So that's called explosion. But implosion, you're more or less using like a suction. So it's a completely different method, and it's more harmonizing with nature, so to speak. So it's not damaging the environment. And Victor Schauberger learned that through forestry, and he applied that into this device called the propulsion, which I'll show you in a minute. So let's just continue on this video.
Die Intuition Johannes Keplers führte ihn zu den Geheimnissen der Pythagoreer.
Johannes Kepler introduced him to the secrets of Pythagoras. Victor Schauberger's vibratory theories tied in with the traditional teachings of Pythagoras and Johannes Kepler. The monochord,
so I gotta say, it's really difficult to hear the English language in this one, but just bear with it.
an acoustic measuring instrument used by Pythagoras, demonstrates to us how the universe was created using sounds, which we obtained through a division of the sides. The entire universe was created using this principle of harmonic resonance.
Der Obertonreihe ist der ganze Kosmos aufgebaut. Ganzzahlige Verhältnisse, Proportionen bestimmen den Aufbau der Materie. Auch im Weltall und in den Atomen. Das chemische Periodensystem der Elemente, die Mendelschen Vererbungsgesetze, die Blattstellungsgesetze, bei den Pflanzen auch der Aufbau der Kristalle und so weiter. Überall, wo wir mathematische Strukturen, Proportionen haben, kommen wir auf das Grundprinzip des Monochords. Victor Schauberger benutzte die Mathematik des Monochords, um seine integrale Technik und seine Lehre von den inneren Welten, von den Schwingungen der inneren Welten
in order to develop and build upon his integral skills and his knowledge of the inner universe
seine
and its
Mathematik
vibrations.
ist nicht euklidisch.
One more thing,
Die
his
Geheimlehre der
mathematics were not
Pythagoreer
Euclidean.
wurde von den Templerorden übernommen,
The secret
aufbewahrt
teachings
und
of Pythagoras
überliefert.
were taken
Und
up by
Victor
the Templar
Schauberger
order,
hat sich dieses
guarded
Wissen
and passed
zunutze
on.
gemacht, um
Victor
seine
Schauberger made
integrale
use of this knowledge
Technik
to
zu
develop his
entwickeln und
theory,
ist so zur
and in so doing
Implosion
discovered
gekommen.
implosion.
Anhand des Energieplans der Natur sehen Sie
In
hier
keeping with the laws of
das
nature,
Alpha
we
und
can see here
Omega,
alpha
den
and omega,
Grundton
the keynote
bis zu den
to the overtone,
Obertönen
going
bis
on
hinauf
further to the last
zum
tone and
letzten
ending in the
Ton, so
creation
wie
of
das
the
ganze
entire
Universum
universe.
aufgebaut ist. Alpha,
Yes, go ahead.
Im Juni 1934 wurde mein Vater.
Okay, first things first, there's a mistake. Someone put Victor Schauberger. No, this is Victor Schauberger's son, Walter Schauberger, who really took over the science behind his father. And I must say, hello, I'm sorry, Corbell Cats, where are you? Hey, man. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Sounds like an old slapper from my area. Corbell's Cats, welcome on in, bruv. And science evidence fringe. See, I'm not that high yet. Yes. Thanks for being here, bruv. Much appreciated. Let's continue.
Von Reichskanzler Adolf Hitler.
In June 1934, my father was invited by the Reichschancellor Adolf Hitler to discuss his work. Hitler wanted to know about his discoveries and talk about the various possibilities and what his great plan was. And he said, yes, I'm looking for new technology which must once again harmonize with the natural order of things. And that is my real program.
Mein Programm. Kurz vor dem Eintreffen der beiden Reichsbeauftragten.
Shortly before the meeting, Hitler, as Reichschancellor, gave the two deputies his orders. The two had come to discuss Hermann Göring's plan.
An die zwei Reichsbeauftragten von Hermann Göring Plan. Herr Victor Schauberger, Sie werden das
And he
mit den
said,
beiden Herren
Herr Victor
besprechen.
Schauberger, you will speak with the two Reichsdeputies, and tomorrow, or by the latest, the day after tomorrow, a second meeting will take place. And he said to the two deputies, I find the plan fascinating. Yes, we Germans will bring about a whole new science.
Wir Deutschen werden eine biotechnische Szene bringen.
So there we go. That is UFO Secrets of the Third Reich, talking about Victor Schauberger. It's very interesting concepts, and I think largely has been ignored by like the physics community by using water. Hey, green tea, nice to see you. Welcome on in. Nice to see you. It's been a while. It's been a while. So yeah, it's sort of implosion theory has been put on a back burner. I mean, no one really talks about it, especially Victor Schauberger. But the device he created, well, he created multiple devices. But what you heard in the video there is that he met with Hitler in 1935, and at that time, Hitler was Reich Chancellor, so he wasn't sort of the head of Germany at the time, I believe. Yes, he was Reich Chancellor, and Victor Schauberger met him, talking about a possibility of because the Germans at the time were creating like new technologies. They were sort of way ahead of their game. I mean, I'm not glorifying the Nazis, but they were literally ahead on everything, literally weaponry, aviation, everything, basically. So Victor Schauberger was basically employed by the Germans to create, not that, but this is, right, okay, I've got to show you this first. You may see this photograph online of Victor Schauberger, but this is not a propulsion system. This is a water purifier that is using copper pipes to... Godstopper, how's it going? Welcome on in. Good job, my mum was German. So, yeah, this is actually a water purifier, and it was using copper pipes, because remember with copper, right, it's an actual conductor, and if you've got water flowing through it, it will actually create electrical charge. And this is what I found out recently with electroculture. I don't know if you ever heard of electroculture. It's basically getting a copper wire, making like a little antenna, and you stick it in the ground, and it'll basically magnify your soil. So you're naturally fertilizing your soil, which I've been doing for the past couple of years. And it seems to work. It seems to work. So copper is not really used in special equipment. I mean, there's one thing I've heard, right? I mean, I'm a gardener by trade. And if you had a copper spade, it will actually go through the soil a lot easier, because it will actually, it's something to do with the magnetism with the copper. It'll actually move the soil out of the way. So if you've got like a really hard soil, that copper spade is going to go right through it, which is actually quite interesting. I don't want to bang on about that, but if you see this photograph, this is a water purifier, and this is what it looks like inside it. I've got a video I'm going to show you in a minute, but this is the repulsion device. Okay, it looks like a flying saucer, doesn't it? I mean, your traditional flying saucer, and I think this is where the concept came from, where people are getting a bit, this looks like, you know, the traditional flying saucers you would see back in the 1950s and 1960s, you know, the traditional brim of the hat, George Adamski sort of flying saucers. This is what I mean. This is where the confusion gets in, because what you got here, you got his repulsion device, you got your water purifier, you got a different concept, and then you have the real flying saucer. So it's all blended into one, and it's just over the past, since the 50s, when the repulsion was quite well known. Well, it's not really well known, but it was well known in Austria at the time. People didn't really know a lot about it. So people would see the repulsion and go like, oh, this actually looks like a flying saucer, and contribute that to say, oh no, that's actually contributing to UFO sightings. So this is where the misconception comes through. Brandon Harris, how's it going, bruv? How's it going? Welcome on in. So this is the repulsion device, okay, which is a very small device that was created in the 30s. He made a couple of prototypes, I believe, in that sort of time period. And I believe he made one in America after the war, I believe in the 50s. So this is it. This is the device itself that used basically, people say it was anti-gravity, you know, tachyon drive, basically like the Hownabu flying saucers, which it wasn't. Well, it was. Actually, I've got to show a video because he doesn't explain it better than I am. It was basically sucking air through whilst the water would flow around. I tell you what, I'm going to have a video just explaining it, because I'm going to be absolutely crap explaining it. But this repulsion device was an actual thing, real thing. So no one can ride the thing, you know, unless you sat on top of it or something like that. But let's bring up the video of this device. I think it is that one. Maybe it's that one. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is, it's going to show you the water purifier first, and then it's going to show you the repulsion device.
This allows energy to be produced from water and air. For Victor Schauberger, conventional explosion technology was the technology of death. With his home power plant, he hoped to stimulate atomic conversion processes through implosion, fulfilling the dream of a non-polluting energy converter that is economical with natural resources. Water jets of enormous force develop in the spiral pipes. But on the very first test run, the pipes burst. A second prototype was drawn up by Victor's collaborator Scheriau and built later in Canada. Now, this suction turbine has been brought to Germany for closer investigation. July 2007. At a convention of the Association for Implosion Research, Jörg Schauberger and Klaus Rauber unwrap a long-lost piece of equipment. It is the last repulsion that Victor Schauberger ever built. In 1958, it was lost in America. The repulsion was constructed at the time of the miracle weapons of the Third Reich and became a legend after the war. One specimen allegedly took off from the workbench and shattered on the ceiling. But what really was the repulsion? According to a technical drawing of the prototype from 1940, the repulsion could, among other things, silently power an aeroplane without the need for fuel. In the turbine, there are two wavy plates, one on top of the other. Air was drawn in through the gill slits between the two plates. And then the air is sucked in here through the slots and brought into the diaphragm inside, so that the air flows around here in a circle. Here the air escapes between the discs and is rotated with these earlobe-shaped guide vanes.
Schauberger's central approach here was the principle of matter transformation. The elements of the air, Particulate matter and gases are converted in this repulsator. One part escapes through the ring rotator. And the radiation energy, Schauberger talks about synthesis electricity, is emitted through the central axis. The repulsion creates a biological vacuum along the axis in front of it, into which the aeroplane is sucked. Like the trout that's basically sucked through a vortex.
I could see that its function was to generate some kind of vortex airflow. And so what we wanted to do is look to see if, when it was spun at high speeds, whether it would generate any lift. We only had pictures of the device before we received it, and there were at least two parts of the device that were not provided us. One of the parts we had pictures of, photos of, and so we were able to fabricate that part of the device to add to what was sent to us. And then there was another smaller cap that we had no information on its structure. It wouldn't look like it would play a major role, but we can't be sure. So when we didn't see a good effect, we didn't know if perhaps we were still missing a significant part.
Victor Schauberger.
So there we go. That's a very good documentary about Victor Schauberger's device. So my apologies. I said water was involved. It wasn't. It was all to do with airflow, which is quite interesting. So yeah, Todd, it's a tricky one really, because he did create it in Germany, but that one I think they found they said they found it in America, because he was employed by the Americans, and then it was quite a sad story really, but the American government or sort of institution that he was employed by really took all of his patents, go figure, and then none of it's come out since. So this type of technology has been buried. I mean, technically, when you look at the repulsion device, you can replace that with an airplane engine. I mean, it's the same sort of principle, but that's what I mean by implosion. You're literally like sucking air in, and with the copper, it creates a magnetism, electrical charge, so to speak. It's such a complex design. No one's really come up with this since. I mean, this is why this sort of technology has been buried. Always, that's legend. A device that is so powerful, it just flies off like crazy. John oh my God, I'm screwing up my words. John Searle had the same story. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check him out, mate. I'll definitely check him out. Victor spoke about that when it took off. It gave off the Coanda effect, a phenomenon when the flowing media trend to stick to a curved surface. Yeah. Henry Coanda, which is in this book here, talks about, I guess it's sort of the same principle, because the 1930s that the Coanda effect was developed. Got it here. There we are, the Coanda effect. And this is a publication that came out in 1982. And it was basically, if you draw air down on top of a flying saucer, it will actually, the air, if you draw air down to the tip of the saucer, it will actually go underneath it and actually propel it up. So I have looked into that, and that was the first designs of the German flying discs that was created in the 1940s. But yeah, you're spot on, Rebecca, spot on. Elon should be looking into these. He has all the engineers, money, and facilities. Yeah, again, apologies for my reading. I read too fast and I screw up the words. But yeah, very, very, very true. Do you know what, mate? I don't trust Elon. When someone that mega, who's been paid by NASA and the Pentagon, and then he puts his little nose into the politics, I get a bit, yeah. But Elon, buy YouTube. Welcome to the show. Don't worry, man. You're here now. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, welcome on in, mate. Welcome on in. Who we got here? Have I missed anybody there? No, I think that's everything. Okay. David Williams. I believe water can cause electrical anomaly. Yes, it can. Especially if you got through like copper pipes, like repulsion. I'm not sure if that is some of the strange going on in Skinwalker Ranch. Just a thought. Yeah, Skinwalker. Oh, Oh, I don't know about Skinwalker, mate. I haven't watched any of the programs, but I'm definitely not ruling that out, mate. Definitely not ruling that out. Elon equals Terminator. Yeah. Again, it's been put up as like the praise, the person with free speech, and it's almost like giving this false hope, so to speak. But when someone puts their nose into politics, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's doing at the moment. Underground. It's strange. Water is energy. Yes, it is. Energy is everywhere when you look at it. So, yeah, this is I thought. Let's bring it up. Let's bring up that repulsion device again. So, yeah, this device here, something's missing. Like the guy said on the video, you got this top bit that seems to be missing. I don't understand why no one has actually reconstructed this. Bear in mind the patterns have all gone, you know, that are buried into the archive of the military complex of America. So it's such a complicated design that can really go away with fuel. We don't need fuel anymore or combustion engines. We have this, but unfortunately, it's now gone. Oh no, not that. So the repulsion device, is it going to make a comeback? Is someone else going to come along and take over Victor Schauberger's designs and hopefully reconstruct it? But there is a museum in, I think it's in Austria, I believe, where Victor Schauberger is. I think his grandson has been taken over the museum, and I don't know if it's popular or not, but yeah, you can go see that if you're ever going into like, I think it's in Austria, I believe, in Austria. So I thought I just want to talk just a bit about Victor Schauberger, right? Because it kind of links into like the German flying saucers, but there's so many different avenues where people could go down. And going back to the comment that somebody put in Hidden Underbelly's channel, that the fact this device here used red mercury liquid is simply not true. Okay, it's just used air to like as like a suction basically, and that's basically it for this device. Really, it's an interesting concept. I'm not surprised that I mean, I should have mentioned that Victor Schauberger, after the war, he was employed by the Americans. I can't remember what institute, and he had a whole laboratory. He was creating another repulsion device. I think this might have been it actually, because I think it said in the video that this came from America. So after, I think it was like 1955, he came back to Austria, I believe, and the American military complex taken all of his patents. He came back to Austria absolutely devastated. They said they'd literally taken everything from me. And sadly, a few days after that incident, he died. Obviously, he was quite old at the time, but he was under like a lot of stress because he suddenly realized that the government has basically done him one. Well, the military complex is basically done him one over. So it's quite a sad story. But when you get inventors like this, you just don't hear from them. Their technology and their patterns just get buried. And unfortunately, it happened to Victor Schauberger. So this is it, guys. This is the man himself. Obviously, died in 1950s, but who knows? One day, maybe we can see the repulsion fly. But whether or not the repulsion actually can see any sort of technology that's actually been built back then, which using using air as an implosion device, I don't know. That's something I need to look into anyway. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Victor Schauberger. I hope it all made sense. It's a complicated device he created, which requires videos. And have I got a copyright? No, I haven't. Yes. I'm in the green, guys. So yeah, I'm just going to skip over that because I want to dedicate a full episode to Victor Schauberger when I deal with my German flying saucers, which would be in the middle of this month. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But there's tons of videos, guys, if you want to know the science of it, of Victor Schauberger and his incredible device. So that is that. What should I talk about? Should I talk about that? Oh God, because there's something I really want to talk about that really ticks me off. But I'll have to speak in code. This is the thing. Oh, tell you what. Let's do Chris Bledsoe because I want to leave that bit to the end. Okay. So Chris Bledsoe, I don't know what people's thoughts on him. I'm a bit dubious when people come forward and have these experiences. I'm not denying these people's having experiences, but when people like Chris Bledsoe have so many recurring phenomena of like extraterrestrials and being in contact or having these sightings, is a bit too coherent. It's a bit like Jason Sands. You know, he was always having these UFO sightings, you know, since he was a kid. I'm not going to talk about Jason Sands. I think it's more or less I'm beating a dead horse at this point. I can't play anything Joe Rogan related, but yeah, if you go back to my last live stream I did on Alien Addict, you can see I talk about Jason Sands. But Ollie was like, "Oh, you should check out this." I listened to it, and he was mentioning about an egg-shaped craft, and I'm going to talk about an egg-shaped craft, which I found in back of my publications. So this is Sean Ryan's show. I do check him out, Sean Ryan. You've got some really, really interesting guests, and this is with Chris Bledsoe. Now let's listen to what he has to say.
Nobody had one. And we just wanted somebody to see this with us, right? So I drove across the ditch, up in this man's yard, pulled my truck right up to his front door, and the storm door's open. I mean, it's closed, but the front door's open. So we could see the TV playing through the door, 2 cars in the yard. And one of the guys gets out, knocks on the door. Nobody answers. And I even blew the horn.
Very true, mate. Very
truck's,
true.
6 feet from the front door, headlights blaring in. And I'm looking back through the window, and this thing's sitting in the road behind us, right? Because the mobile home was facing the way out.
Same,
and we had turned up to the door, and that orb stood, this football was still there, 100, 150 yards. Nobody answers. So I back out, and I pull back out in the road. Now I'm about 40 or 50 yards closer to this thing because we had to go forward to get to this mobile home.
Welcome on the sense.
About that time, the 3 gunshots happen, and then it starts, and it comes, and it comes. And when it gets to my truck, I open the sunroof on it, and it crossed over the top of my truck, and it was probably 60 feet up. I could have shot it with a homemade slingshot, and it hit this thing. No sound, just glowing white light that was doing this.
Did it look solid, or did it look kind of translucent?
It looked, once it got that close to us, it looked almost, it was blinding from the light. But at a distance, it looked like an egg.
Hi there. Did you know you can perfectly legally, through a government scheme, earn £1 million a year completely?
Sorry, guys.
It's hard to tell it was translucent because of the light coming off of the thing. But it was definitely shifted from a red ball of fire to a football or an egg or a tic-tac.
Right, and okay. This is where I'm going to go back a little bit because the bloody ad came in.
Sunroof on it, and it crossed over the top of my truck, and it was probably 60 feet up. I could have shot it with a homemade slingshot, and it hit this thing. No sound, just glowing white light that was doing this.
Did it look solid, or did it look kind of translucent?
It looked, once it got that close to us, it looked almost, it was blinding from the light. But at a distance, it looked like an egg. It's hard to tell it was translucent because of the light coming off of the thing. But it was definitely shifted from a red ball of fire to a football or an egg or a tic-tac.
Okay, so he's just mentioned a ball, an egg, and a tic-tac. Bledsoe, which one is it, mate? Come on, there's a tic-tac and an egg. They're 2 separate objects. Again, I hate to sound like a skeptic, guys. And I'm not a skeptic. It's just when I keep on hearing these whistleblowers or someone that doesn't really bring any evidence to the table. I mean, I'm saying that the footage that Chris Bledsoe shot, you can see it was like a ball of light going across the moon. And I believe that was actually debunked. It was actually the ISS, the International Space Station, I believe. So the egg-shaped phenomena, obviously being portrayed by, oh my God, Jake Barber. You can actually find a lot of like egg-shaped craft throughout the decades, and a very typical example of that is the Zamora case, where a police officer found, well, he saw this like egg-shaped craft, but it was more or less on its side. And I'd say, let's bring that up. Okay, Chris Bledsoe, yeah, if you can't get what the craft is, mate, I just can't trust these people. Some more UFO. Here we go. And I hate to sound like a skeptic, guys. I really do. I find it. I'm finding it really hard to trust anyone in ufology now. Jason Sands, you got to be gay and left-handed to summon UFOs. You got it was Jake Barber who said that, and then Jason Sands saying other things. I'm really basically regurgitating what we already know in ufology. Sorry to say this, but this is a very typical example of like an egg-shaped craft. So this was the Zamora case that happened in 1964, April the 24th, 1964, where this police officer saw, he was actually on pursuit, chasing this vehicle, and he sees this egg-shaped craft. And eventually he pulled over and he saw this craft land. And then he saw these two beings come out. They're almost like childlike beings. And eventually this craft, obviously the beings went back into the craft and it took off. But this is what's interesting about it. There is actual analysis done. I don't think I can find it on there. Yeah, you can actually see where the landing legs went, the propulsion system, how it actually took off. The symbol you can see here, where my cursor is, that one there. You can see that's actually been changed by the mainstream media. The mainstream media has changed that a lot. So there's been actual markings, like footprints of these extraterrestrials and stuff like that. It's actually quite interesting. And obviously, when the craft took off, it gave off this like propulsion system, and that is what was seen in the ground. People came in to actually test the grounds, and they found out they had very high background radiation. You're going to get standard background radiation anyway, anywhere you go, but this was actually off the chart. So this is what I mean by actual evidence. You can actually find something here. You can actually say, "Oh, actually, no, this very trustworthy Lonnie Zamora." The police officer here was very high regarded, and it changed him after this event. So these cases here, where you've actually got radiation, you've got imprints, you've got a witness testimony, which is very, very credible. I mean, I watched a load of interviews on him, and it's very, very compelling. So that's what I find interesting, like cases like this. And this is in 1964. But when I was going through my German flying saucer books and publications, I found something actually quite interesting. And that's going to bring this up because let's bring up that one there. Because these egg-shaped craft, you can track them back through many, many decades. But I'm going to bring up this. So this is my copy of a publication by Michael X. We want you, is Hitler alive? Top secret. And this came out in, oh, I've got it down here. I can put it up here because I've taken all the photographs of it. Let's bring this up like that. There we go. Okay, so this publication came out in 1960, and you can see here the date. So this is actually a reprint, but this is exactly the same publication, and it obviously came out in 1960. And in here, if you want to go read it, guys, people in the chat who's watching this, it talks about Hitler escaping Berlin and going into Patagonia, obviously in Argentina and stuff like that. So you can go read that there. And I should have mentioned something because it mentions Victor Schauberger. Let's go back to Victor Schauberger for something because I want to lay the line on something that's quite important, because this publication here is the first publication that I'm aware of that is pushing the UFO aspect with Victor Schauberger. Okay, so circular winged craft. Shall I read or not? All right, go on then. Okay, so in this page here, chapter 3, it says Schauberger and the Silent Saucer. Okay, so remember, in 1955, this is when the repulsion device came out, and it's saying here, now, dear friends, read on, for we are coming to the most significant turn of events. For all the secret inventions of the World War II, by far the most exciting was one that came out of blah, 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 Germany in the early 40s. Practically early 40s. Around this time, a very brilliant engineer, Victor Schauberger, that's a typo. So Victor Schauberger was experimenting with dynamagnetism. Oh my God, diamagnetism, whatever. That is, Schauberger's was testing attracting and repulsing properties of materials such as copper and various alloys. The results of his experiments was excellent. Schauberger built a model-size saucer-shaped craft for his tests. Some were bell-shaped, some hat-shaped. He powered them by an electromagnetic engine. Now, everything I've just described in the videos there doesn't really mention about that. I mean, I suppose it's making an electrical charge when the air is flowing through it, but it's not like that's not like the main principle of it. So you see, people don't really know what the repulsion device was at the time. I'm sorry we're diverting a little bit. I do apologize for this. I should have brought this up when I was talking about Victor Schauberger. So by means of this new type of propulsion, electromagnetism, the inventor succeeded in causing a disc-shaped model to fly silently through the air. And wonder of wonders, the new electro blah 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 drive motor was flameless and smokeless. Man, I need to spruce up on my reading. And here we have is the publication right here. And you think I'm joking? People go, "Oh no, you just got that off the internet." No, look, there it is. There we go. So it's saying here, Schauberger's experimental model of a flying saucer made of copper, which it was, built in 1940 by blah, 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 in Vienna. Yes, sorry, it was Vienna, not what did I say it was? I can't remember what, but no, it was based in Vienna. That's my apologies. In June of 1957, issue of Uranus Uranus magazine, engineer Victor Schauberger of the Biological Institute of Bad or whatever, well known for his golden plow, which was I don't know if you see what a golden plow is. So a plow is what was used for farms to actually turn soil, but he used copper instead, which actually found out, like I mentioned earlier, with a copper spade, is that it will actually turn the soil much more easier. So he did invent that. And his water purifying system, which I showed you that before, is reported to have produced and flown as far back as 1940. Hat or bell-shaped craft, presumably of a model size made of copper, utilizing diamagnetism. A reference to this is Mr. Shriver book, Flying Saucer over South Africa. I am not going to read anymore. You can read it for yourself. But this is what I'm talking about. This is where the first publication of German flying saucers and Victor Schauberger being spliced into one, okay? These photographs here were taken from this book, UFO Photographs Volume 1 by Rendell Stevens, which another person I can't trust, unfortunately, because they dealt a lot with the Billy Meyer case back in the day. So as you can see, the repulsion device here, let's just go back a little bit. You can see this looks like flying saucers from back in the 1950s and 60s. Isn't it? So this was taken in 1952. We just don't see flying saucers like that anymore. So you could say, oh yeah, that looks like that. So that's definitely Victor Schauberger made the UFO. But the truth is, it's not true. It's not true. I mean, he created a device for sure, but these flying saucers had really nothing to do. I mean, they could be faked for all I care, to be honest with you. But yeah, going back to the egg-shaped UFO, which requires me reading. Oh my god. Okay. 1940s. No, it's not that one. There we go. Right. So this is to do with an egg-shaped craft that was in August 15th, 1960. I'm going to pause it and you can read it for yourself. Here is a list of sightings from 1957. The saga of a flying egg began on November the 2nd and 3rd of that year. People in Levelland, Western Texas, reported seeing a UFO shaped like an egg. It was about 200 feet long, glowing bright as through it was on fire, thought it was on fire. Most of the observers stated it was 200 feet in the air when they saw it. The force field of the UFO stalled motor car in the highway. Okay, so again, I don't want to shit on Chris Bledsoe, but at the same time, yeah, that is me reading, just like that emoji, mate. So I guess that's what Chris Bledsoe saw when it turns, but he says, oh, it was a round ball. Oh, it might have been a tic tac, or it might have been an egg shaped. It's like, well, which one is it? You know, that's completely different things. So again, on November the 5th, we have another egg shaped sighting, and November the 9th as well. So you can see here, we've got some egg shaped UFOs going back from the 50s, late 50s. So there we go. If this flying egg we have been talking about, this not made on Mars, this is, oh my god, I can't. There's something about live streams and me reading just does not gel. So go read it for yourself, guys, honestly, because I'm just going to make myself like a right tit. Yeah, so yeah, that is it. So this is a report that I found in my publication from 1960 or 1969 as the reprint about an egg-shaped craft. So it's nothing new. We've, like I said, that's the Zamora case. We've seen these flying eggs before. So there we go. I thought it was worth showing, and reads to your heart's desire. And I'm never going to read ever again. Until practice makes perfect, guys. Practice makes perfect. So I thought I'd show you that. I thought that was quite interesting, finding this sort of egg-shaped crafts. I mean, you don't really see a lot of them these days. I mean, I'll tell you what you do see. Where is it? Okay, right. Real fake. And it's this. So we've had, if you think through the past 80 years of ufology, we've gone from airships in the 18th century, right? And then we went from, obviously, the balls of light. Then the 1950s and 60s, even 40s as well, we had the traditional flying saucers, the brim of the hat, the George Adamski style flying saucers. And then round about the late 80s, you had the Gulf Breeze sightings that happened in Florida with what's his name, Ed Walters, I think his name was. And then we had the triangular craft that happened, like especially like the Belgian wave in the late 80s. But check this out. This is old school, by the way. This is nothing new. Fake. Bear in mind, it's so perfect, isn't it? Where the triangle craft, it's in unison with the plane itself. I've never seen this before. I just thought it was quite interesting, whether or not it's fake or not. But yeah, we've got these triangle craft, and we have no lights underneath them. So normally we had the three lights on each end of the craft itself, with the small light in the center as well. So yeah, there we go. So that's something I found on Hidden Underbelly's channel. So that is that for that. I don't think I've got any more in terms of footage of that now. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm all over the place today, guys, when it comes to like information and stuff like that. Let's bring up Twitter. Where are you to? Twitter. There we go. Oh my God. I'm really sorry. If anyone's seen this video, it really shows you how this my generation, even the young generation, is horrendously falling. I'm not going to play it because it's going to make me absolutely mad. It just shows you how pathetic people are in this world. It really is quite sad, really. But no, I have absolutely no sympathy for this person here whatsoever. Don't know why I bookmark it. I can go. Bye. So this is Anna Luna. I don't know if people trust her or not. I don't know. It's up to you. But she's obviously a congresswoman. She's pretty much there in ufology, and especially when it comes to transparency. I mean that very, very lightly, transparency. I think these people in congressmen like Tim Burchett, you know, Anna Luna Paluna, I think they want to do good. I think they really want to get the information on these UFOs out there. And I truly believe that. But Tim Burchett said, I believe last year, he was saying, look, there's a three-letter agency has come in and sort of stopping this information being put forward. I mean, where's the transparency at the moment? And I keep on hearing, like she's saying here, a big announcement's going to happen next week. How many times have we heard that already? We need the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. We need at least some sort of evidence. You know, look about the Zamora case. You know, you actually had something to go by. Imprints. You had the background radiation. There's so many different things to go along with it. So at this point now, we need proof. We need evidence to at least back something up. You could say, well, we did have evidence. The News Nation, Jason Barber, not Jason Barber. Oh God, what's his name? Yeah, no, it's Jake Barber. Sorry, I'm getting Jason Sands and Jake Barber. I'm getting too confused. But he came out with that egg-shaped craft that even I said that looked like crap before it even came out. So am I supposed to crap on that sort of footage and say, look, that's actually fake? Because everyone crapped on it, didn't it? It might have been a real extraterrestrial craft, but it's still crap footage. It doesn't really solidify anything, to be honest with you. But let's see what Anna Luna Paluna saying. Something big's going to happen.
Your massive announcement that you teased earlier in the week, where you said, I'm going to do something that will change the face of the American government forever. Here's the exact language of your post that went thermonuclear. I have an announcement next week that will impact the entire nation.
Let's go, mate.
Press conference to be announced soon. Everyone's wondering if it's aliens, but maybe it goes even deeper than that.
Yeah, I think
can you tell us?
I think it's bigger than that. I think, you know, without getting too much into the details, and the date will be posted soon. You'll find that date for the press conference. I'd actually encourage everyone to tune in, and we're going to be opening it up if we can to some independent journalists as well. But I think that for far too long, people have been lied to by their government, and I think the way that you regain trust and you really help restore the nation, and I think bring back not just, I think, hope, but also, and remember, hope is contagious, but you really help it to secure it for future generations. I think that you have to have a fully transparent government. And so I won't get too much more into the details, but we're going to be doing something really big. So I am happy that I was entrusted with this, and I'm going to be doing some good stuff with some incredible people, and I'll leave it at that.
That's bold claims. That's bold claims. Again, we're all getting excited now. Like, oh my God, something's going to happen. But it's going to be like another nothing burger. Another, like Rory says, trust me, bro. This is it. This is what infuriates me at the moment. It's, do you reckon, Rory, do you think she's full of it? I think she wants to do good. I think as she's in that position, she's talking about transparency. I don't see any transparency since the New York article that came out in 2017 to where we are now. All it has led since then is TV programs, book deals, documentaries, and film, like film scripts and stuff like that. That's our transparency right there. Okay, so Am I going to believe everything she says? Oh, I don't know, man. Oh, I really don't know. I try to have hope, and this is what Ollie was saying to me. Was saying, I know you've become a skeptic. It's like, look, there's things that needs to be said. There's a lot of like false hopes, and a lot of it's controlled. Like Rotary says, a lot of it's controlled, practically all of it. So the idea of we're gonna get something big, transparency is going to happen, slow drip disclosure. I think these are just false hopes. I understand what Luna is saying, that we need to bring more trust into the government, and I think it depends your stance on politically what Trump is actually doing. Although I'm a bit skeptical now on Trump, unfortunately. Sorry to say it, but I suppose he wants to do good, but at the same time, he did. For instance, if you look at the drone situation, he says we're going to get pure transparency about the drones. And what was said about it? Oh, they were approved by the FAA. They were basically doing some sort of surveillance, but they're not really going into detail of what they're actually doing. That's not transparency. I'm sorry. What they were saying, the official story about the drones, I just don't believe. I think it's. And how are you supposed to trust the government, especially the new administration, when they're obviously lying? They're obviously lying. There's something that's going on, whether or not it's China. I don't think China's. Why would they? I mean, they've got satellites to track everything. For instance, if we talk about surveillance, I mean, this is going on a whim here. What the actual Chinese military actually has. Why would they send drones over? They can track everything through satellites. Or whether or not they're actually, I mean, what they're trying to actually survey as well. This is it. They're trying to survey the people. Well, we've got phones here that track us, listen to us every single day, 24/7. Even can probably control us. That's how like scary thought. So time will tell. I'm just kind of sick of these stories, man. I mean, I hate to say it, either pull up or shut up at this point. Not coming as a skeptic, I'm just saying, look, these false hopes and promises and all these trust me bros, it's got to lead somewhere. So when this is going to happen, when is Luna Paluna is going to bring out this information, or something big is going to happen? But like I said, we've all heard it all before. But time will tell. Huge script playing, and they are very good at it. Got all the money too. Yes, they got all the money too. I mean, look at Elon, for Christ's sake. Funded by NASA and the Pentagon, for Christ's sake. And he's anti-establishment. Hey? What? When you're employed by the government, funded by the Pentagon? Yeah, sure. All right. Okay. That's just my thoughts on that one, guys. That's just my thoughts on that one. AO 2012. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being here. I think you're new into the stream. Have I missed anyone else? Ty E. McLeod Wise. Thanks for being here, man. I do appreciate you. And everyone else in chat as well who I've missed. I'll try to get everyone that I can. So is Luna Paluna going to bring up her promises of something big's going to happen in the next coming weeks? We'll see. Time will tell. But I don't have my hopes up. I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Right. Let's move on to something that... Right. I've really got to speak in code here. Because there's one part of the there's part of the community, right? It's to do with, let's bring it up, and I don't know how the algorithm, I'm not going to say it, but the algorithm is going to be like, ooh, don't show that. Let's bring up the video. Let's bring up the video. And it has to do with what's going up the trails in the sky, because I met someone yesterday who was talking about, and City Diva, if you're in chat, it's not you, darling, don't worry. They were saying about the trails in the sky. As this person was talking, she made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Obviously, we're talking about the chems in the sky and all that sort of stuff. And it was just literally just like a bunch of like fear mongering stuff. And I said to her, I says, how do you know if these trails in the sky been going on before? And she goes, oh, no, it's never happened before and all that. I says, well, no, it has happened before. I've definitely, I've done research into it, and they definitely have trails in the sky before. Oh no. That's absolutely wrong. Obviously, you know, from my YouTube channel, I've done so many videos on geo engineering and chem. You know, you get the idea. So all that is from the 1960s and 50s. So what's the difference between that and to what it is now? Again, here we have 70s and 80s. But literally, like, unfortunately, that part of the community don't really do research. I hate to say it, but these trails have been going along for a long period of time. And then she goes, yeah, but what about the ring around the sun? I'm going to show you a video. And my God, it's just, I find it really frustrating. I'm not saying that people are retarded, but this community, the chem community, they're just all over the place, and I don't think really know what they're talking about. So let's bring up this video, and this is Richard Frobes.
They sent me actually a number of these pictures, but just have a look at this and see what you make of it. There is a definite ring there around the sun. Now, you may think, as they pointed out, but that's just some sort of weird reflection on the camera. But they're saying they saw this with the naked eye. Have you seen anything like this? And what could that possibly be? Some atmospheric condition, perhaps? Just curious if anyone's actually seen anything like that. And thank you very much if you have. And if
so, the ring around the sun, okay, that isn't a new phenomena, because I'm going to show you a video from me back in 2008. See, I'm not saying the word because I'm trying to beat their algorithm here. So this is me. Yeah, that word there. You get the idea. 2008, 2009. And I saw the same thing. Hold on. Wait for it. There, see it? And I was like, oh my God, that's weird. That's really weird. That's unusual. That's like really strange. So for me back then, who was new to the community, get your forehead out of the way, Nick. Come on, bloody hell. You can see you got the ring around the sun. So this is nothing new, okay? But people say, oh no, that's been done on purpose. Like, well, where'd you get your evidence for that? Because as I went through my books, I found this. So these are all rings around the sun, which is caused by something called cirrostratus, which is nothing new. That word could go back for over 100 years. The photograph on the right-hand side, that was taken in 1909. Oh, sorry, June the 23rd, 1907 at 1:23 p.m. You can see it down there at South Kensington Station. So here we have the rings around the sun. So when people say, "Oh no, that's to do with the chems," it's not. It's a complete natural phenomena, unfortunately. I don't want to bang on too much about that, but it just kind of goes to show that people don't really sort of do research, so to speak. Jamie, how's it going, man? Don't worry, you're late. You're here now. That's the main thing. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to talk about this just for a split second, and then we move on to something else. But I'm finding more and more people coming forward who are sort of new to the community, don't understand weather, don't understand how clouds are formed, but yet they're telling me everything's been manipulated on purpose. Especially talking about the weather being controlled. It's like, well, hold on a minute here. Like, it's just like, just to take a step back a little bit, and let's just Occam's razor, mate. You know what I mean? Let's just try to, like, for instance, like I say, you know, these trials have been going on for a long, long period of time. It's nothing new, but apparently, according to the community, it's a new phenomenon. But again, I'm not denying the things in the sky that can create artificial cloud. Okay. But through my observation, if you go onto my Rumble channel, let's bring it up here. Here's my Rumble channel. So this was taken, that was taken on the 5th. So if you go to my Rumble channel, Investigate with Nick 89, I've got literally 2.5 years of me filming the skies 24/7. Literally, I got my my Insta360 Ace Pro 2 camera, which shoots in 8K, films the sky in amazing quality. And if you can see on the left-hand side here, you can actually see the halo around the sun. And there was a lot of, see? So again, I'm not denying those trails can spread out because you can see it here. Look. So the whole sky is in that white sheen. So yes, it can create that, but I've just showed you photographs from years ago that shows the same thing. And you can see here with the moon, for that. It's got the halo around it, which is quite interesting. So there we go. So, but yeah, that woman, she was, see, Diva, it's not you, and she popped. Don't worry, it's not you, it's somebody else. IP, how's it going, mate? How's it going, bro? Welcome on in. So, tin hat on, yeah. Yeah, I kind of. It depends. It depends on the person, mate. You know, if you're new to this community, you're going to believe anything you see on X or TikTok, and you sort of just believe in pretty pictures, so to speak, and videos. So I don't know. Just be really careful where you'll get your information from. And this is a very typical example, right? Let's bring Twitter up again because I saw this. Get out that way. But don't worry, we'll talk about UFOs in a second. Don't worry. Where is it to? Where is it to? Right, this. Okay. So, according to this concerned citizen on Twitter, a lot of us follow him or the bot, so to speak, and it's got a description here. Look at this chemical soup. This dude gets it. That, my friend, is what's called a sunset. There is nothing nefarious about that. Why? What sort of toxic chemical can create a cloud like this? You can see the lights on, so you can tell it's in the evening. So, like literally, it's like, what the hell is going on? Why are people literally posting this stuff and going, oh, that's toxic chemical soup, you know? Oh, I actually know people that don't go out because there's trails in the sky. It's like, God, bloody hell, it's like, is life that bad for you? Seriously, man. It's like, come on, this just like, it's like a level of paranoia. And this person here, concerned citizen on X, is a massive fearmonger. It's literally pumping fear into people. It's not good, man. So to say that this is toxic chemical in the sky, I just no, it's not. It's called a flipping sunset, for Christ's sake. And even like the description here, you know, he's even got links to everything. People say, oh no, that's what the skeptics say. It's like, no, how many times have we seen a sunset? I've seen it all my life. You know, it's nothing new. But this is a new phenomenon, apparently. It's now toxic soup. Oh, just getting sick and tired of absolute BS. You know what I mean? This is like, it's just getting a bit stupid now, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't mean to like bang on about the trails in the sky, but I think just be if you are into that sort of realm of conspiracy, just be really careful what information you're coming across, all right? And do your own research and make your own mind up, because I'm 50-50 on it now. I'm come to the point, there is so much misinformation on these trails, it's actually making me a skeptic. It really is. At this point, I'm going, I mean, people are saying one thing. It's like, for instance, the trails in the sky is to block out the sun. It's like, well, it's not really blocking out the sun where I'm at. Oh, no, it's to poison us. So, well, okay. If it's not to poison us, it's for 5G. It's not for 5G. It's for something else. It's just like one thing after another and after another. It's like, man, no one knows what they're talking about. No one's know what they're talking about. So I'm going to leave that for the time being, because I can blabber on all day about that and move on to this. This is absolutely crazy. I showed this on Hidden Underbelly's channel. So this is a photograph taken of Einstein, and AI has managed to actually create a video form of Einstein. This is just absolutely crazy. Let's bring the video up and the volume up. Look at this.
What would art be like without emotions? It would be empty. What would our lives be like without emotions? They would be empty of values. So a famous classical poet said, we hate and we love. Can one tell me why? Catullus. Science does not answer why questions.
That's crazy. That has to be the best AI generated video I've seen so far of a person. Like, even like the hands are more or less.
Emotions, they would be empty of values.
He's got something in his hand.
So
You can see
a
it in the
famous classical poet said, "We hate and we love. Can one tell me why?"
Crazy. This is how far we've come. It's terrifying. I'm still waiting for the alien footage, the alien and UFO footage, which is going to be absolutely spectacular, absolutely amazing. Corbell's Cats, did I say hello to you, bruv? I think I did. Can't remember. But anyway, hey, Corbell's Cat, educate where you can and call out the bullshit. Yeah, unfortunately, mate, look, excuse me. I've been in this community since 2007. It's nearly 18 years, 18 years. And I've seen it gone from back in 2007 and 8, it was very simplified to block out the sun. Now it's just gone absolutely all over the place. It's like I said, for 5G, it's for weather manipulation. It's for A, B, C, D. It's just absolutely all over the place. So that's just my opinion on that one. But if I see bullshit, I will call it out. Definitely. Yeah, I find it dangerous, man. Jamie Kennedy. Hey, Jamie. I don't know if I said hello to you, bruv. But this is quite scary because you can easily take someone like this and make him do something very naughty. You could do. Do you know what? I can remember back in the 90s, right? It might have been like 90s, early 2000s. They were going to get an... I don't think it was actually AI. It was something to do with Saddam Hussein. And they were going to actually make a... like this gay porn video. But I believe they actually got someone that actually looked like Saddam Hussein and then forced him to, I believe, forced him to actually have gay anal sex with someone and actually film it and actually put out into the internet. I did hear that. I don't know if anyone in chat could actually remember that or not. But I remember. And I believe they used some sort of AI but where we are now in 2025 with this is absolute been crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let's move on. Let's go on to some UFOs because I've been blabbering on so much about unimportant stuff. This was taken from a security camera. This is a Project Unity, J. Anderson. Not too sure what this is. This is so crazy, guys. Look at this. It's always a bit blurry. Would you say that's fake? It's so difficult. I mean, you could say, right? I'm not religious in any stretch of the imagination, especially when it comes to like Jesus or Christianity, so to speak. But you could say it could be angels or fairies. I've seen some very strange fairy videos. Possibly could just be moths going on camera, but this is so immensely fascinating. It's kind of hard to work out what it is. It comes, goes, and disappears. I know the skeptics and Mick West going, it's a bug. It's a bug, mate, you idiot. It's like, no, that doesn't look like a bug. It's shining so bright. And you do have this, I don't know if you can see, where the big object comes in, you've got a small object. Looks like it's actually got feet or legs. Fairies, mate. That's what it is. It's fairies. But I thought it was a very compelling footage we got here. That is not really seen quite. I mean, it doesn't really make any impact on the ground. If you have a little look at it, as it hits the ground. Yeah, I can't see any sort of impact or anything like that. Because it looks like it sort of expands, like almost like an explosion on the ground. There, you see it? I know, that's fascinating. What if it was taken in Skinwalker Ranch? Who knows? Who knows? So what do you think about that, chat? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. Again, more nonsense. More nonsense again. Right, let's move on to Timber chat. Let's go into the chat. Nashoba It proves me where pogo sticks come from. A drunk angel going home. Yeah, most likely, mate. Yeah, it's probably like just watch Hidden's Underbelly stream and it's like, man, I need to get home now because I'm like way too stoned. Looks like it jumps. Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah, it does, Pete, doesn't it? Doesn't look CGI. Yeah, it's with CGI, right? It's a very distinct look, isn't it? You can kind of tell when something's CGI, but that, I mean, I know it's a security camera, but it still looks pretty bloody good. Still looks pretty good. Fairies on a space hopper. Aliens, lizard playing pogo sticks. Yeah, pretty much. See, everyone's got a sense of humor. That's lovely. That's great to see. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. That footage there. Let's move on to Tim Burchett. Now, because of my accent, I live in the southwest of England, and we are very well known for speaking like farmers and pirates, and stuff like that. That sort of accent. So it may sound like I'm saying Tim Burchett, but I'm not. But Tim Burchett, if you're watching, I do apologize, and I will say Tim Burchett. Make sure the T at the end. So this is what he has to say on CNN out of all newspapers. They're not news. Are these newspapers still? I don't know. Whatever.
Extraterrestrial life on planet Earth. One of the things you said in an interview, you talked about a conversation you had with a U.S. admiral. They tell me something's moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater, as large as a football field underwater. This was a documented case, and I have an admiral telling me this stuff. What do you believe exists on Earth in terms of extraterrestrial life, and what have you seen proof of?
Well, there's some things I've seen proof of that I can't discuss, and I've urged the White House to disclose these things. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars researching something, and then you have one group telling us they don't exist, and I have the best pilots in the world telling me, Tim, this thing was 14 feet from my canopy, and he did this, and I've seen things that I wish the public could see. There's just a lot of unknowns. And again, they tell us they don't exist, but then they issue redacted reports, and they're still studying. Almost every one of our alphabet agencies has that. And we had testimony that said they have a recovery unit. Now, what are they recovering? I'd like to know. It's our tax dollars. We have a right to know. And when government thinks that we can't handle what's going on out there, that's when government's gotten a little too big, and we need to cut their wings off. And right now they're spending, our Pentagon has got all this dark money. You have the alphabet agency studying these things. One group will tell us they exist, the other one doesn't. I just think it's time that we have total disclosure. And you all in the press ought to be for transparency and disclosure. I don't see a problem with that.
Extraterrestrial.
With Tim Burchett's comment like this, like I said, I believe he wants to do good. I do believe he wants transparency, he wants disclosure, and he makes a very, very valid point that the three-letter agencies are literally stopping. Like I said that earlier, he said it's stopping the disclosure for actually happening, and you have people that are insert themselves into the UFO community and then push the conversation in a different direction, so to speak. So let's just go back. I just want to listen to what he says again. Just
public can see. There's just a lot of unknowns. And again, they tell us they don't exist, but then they issue redacted reports, and they're still studying. Almost every one of our alphabet agencies has that. And we had testimony that said they have a recovery unit. Now,
makes me think about the drones. Okay, let's just go on a whim here. If those drones were actually surveilling something, what do you think it'd be surveilling? I've been hearing a lot at the moment about it's going to sound a bit out there, but like portals opening up. That links into the fog, and it links into the drones. Well, it can do, if you want to put the things together. That the fact that what the drones are actually trying to find is actually these portals are being open. This could be linked into the Miami Mall incident that happened beginning of last year, where this portal opened up right in the middle of a Miami Mall. No one filmed it. And then these like 12-foot aliens started coming out. Again, no one filmed it. But apparently, this is it. I was listening to Daily Conspiracy Podcast, Jamie, and he was saying that, yes, this is what Dave thinks is actually happening. Like these drones are looking for some sort of portals being open. And this is where it's going to get very, very interesting. And this is what I'll be talking about on my next episode, because I don't know if anybody's heard of Professor Simon Holland's new video. Have I got it in my thing here? Probably not. No, I don't. Okay, let's bring this up. Because Professor Simon Holland brought out a video. Simon Holland about the Rendlesham Forest, which I want to do an episode on that, because that is like all over the place when it comes to Rendlesham Forest. That was I think that's probably one of the biggest cases, excuse me, that is actually more bigger than Roswell, because you had actually people witnessing, I mean, very high ranking officials witnessing it as well. So this here is called, excuse me, hard news to share, Professor Simon. I thought he was going to, had like a bloody illness, and it wasn't. What he was talking about was Rendlesham Forest, but he also talks about this, like almost like a direct energy weapons also being used. He doesn't believe a craft was actually flying around Rendlesham Forest. He believes that there was something else behind it, due to this new video, which talks about an experiment being done on the military personnels, and one way of actually distorting reality and changing reality. This is how crazy it is. So I do recommend, I'm going to put this up in the description, and I strongly recommend, guys, go check this out, because I want to talk about this on my next episode. Let's put this in there for you. It's immensely fascinating. Now, Rendlesham Forest, that was an incident. Oh, let's bring it up. Rendlesham Forest, because that is one case I haven't really. Rendlesham Forest. Sorry, guys. Rendlesham Forest. UFO. Is it going to come up? Okay, let's bring this up here. Because Simon Holland says there's something crazy that happened on that day in Rendlesham Forest. That was almost like an experiment on the personnels. The story behind it is that there was this craft that was floating about. Well, there's like this lights you can see floating in between the trees. And there's an actual recording of military personnel going out into the field and witnessing these lights. And you find it on YouTube. I don't be able to find, actually. I won't be able to play anything of it. It's an immensely fascinating case. It's one of the biggest cases in ufology. And I remember watching a documentary years ago about it. I think I'll tell you what, I'll put that up for the next episode. We'll talk about this, because it's a possibility that what was seen that day was basically portals being opening and having some sort of entity. I know it sounds batshit crazy, but some sort of entity coming out. Whether or not they're actually trying to play with it or trying to open something up to God knows what. I mean, it was so new to me. I was listening on the way home from work. I was going, bloody hell, this is like absolutely crazy. Like it's got a completely new narrative onto Rendlesham Forest, because we always thought that it was like a triangle craft that was eventually seen. Again, I need to listen to the tapes that are. I'm pretty you can find them on YouTube. But it's one of those cases that is absolutely crazy, and it dwarfs over Roswell. It's apparently one of the biggest cases in UFO history, to be honest with you. I saw it yesterday. Yeah, it's a good video, mate. Good video. That binary code thing, will you believe in that? I'm not too sure, mate. Not too sure. The truth is actually there. Absolutely. We need the truth, man. We need the truth. I heard of pod, maybe egg. Wow, okay. would be crazy to believe to be the only one in this great universe. Very, very true. Very true. So go check that out, guys. Like I said, I put the link in the description for that. It's absolutely mad. And I thought, well, it requires more than a week for me to actually get my ass around this, because there's so many different theories about Rendlesham Forest. And I think it's actually worth me doing a proper analysis of it. Not triangle. Okay. I remember, Rotary, there was some sort of craft that was seen. Again, this is a part of ufology I haven't really looked into, but I will for next week. Yes, we will do that for next week. How long have we got? Hour and a half. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. What else have I got on my things here, on my notes? I think that's pretty much it, really. Let's have a little look at Twitter one more time. Oh no, I've got the paranormal stuff. Okay, let's go through some like UFO sightings, and then we'll end the stream there. So this was shown
a triangular object.
So this was shown on Hidden Underbelly's channel. That was all new to me on Wednesday when he showed it. I was like, bloody hell, that's really, really crazy. Now look at this. Look at that.
Altitude 22,000 feet. Speed 319 knots. Heading 075 degrees northeast. This wasn't some shaky cell phone footage. It was caught mid-flight, and the object held its position effortlessly. I wanted to find the exact flight. Using ADSB data, I searched for an Airbus A320 that matched the key cockpit details: altitude, heading, and speed. Flying over Antioquia that day, while I couldn't pinpoint the exact flight, I found one with nearly identical characteristics. It's not a perfect match, but it gives us context for what was happening in the skies when this was recorded. And here's the thing: Antioquia is no stranger to UFO sightings. A few years ago, another Colombian pilot, flying at 12,500 feet, recorded a similar object passing by his aircraft.
Yeah, I remember.
And just days before this latest encounter, on December 28, 2024, a witness in Medellin reported a diamond-shaped craft. It was gray and red, stable, and moved with precision before vanishing behind the trees. This was officially reported to the National UFO Reporting Center with photos and video. Same region, multiple sightings, highly credible witnesses. So what are we looking at? Classified tech or something else entirely?
This is interesting because could you guys remember back in like 2009-10, you had the pyramid UFOs in the sky? I guarantee they're saying that was fake, but this like diamond-shaped craft, again, it's like nothing new. I mean, I think I've got sightings in one of my books here about diamond-shaped craft. I went through an aircraft called, oh my God, I forgot what it was called now. It's not the S bomber or anything like that, but it was definitely something military. And the part of the craft that I can't remember, the airplane, that was definitely military. It looks like a triangle basically, and whether or not it can actually go vertically up. But if you have a look at the footage, this object.
February 6th, 2025.
There we go. You can see it in the distance. Look, this thing's stationary. Look at that. So the pilot, if you think how far away that object is to the cockpit, it's quite far distance. And fair play to the captain or whoever's filming this, who did a pretty steady shot. I mean, look at it. It's a balloon, Mick West would say. And this is it. If you look carefully, it almost looks like it's got like two legs. There you see. Hang on, it's got you see in the middle, right? It's got a little bump, but then it goes into like two legs. There, see it? Yeah, that's crazy. So we need more footage like this. Does it prove that it's extraterrestrials? Probably not. But nevertheless, it's better than bloody blurry footage. You know what I mean? This is another one. This is absolutely fascinating. Look at this. Let's put the volume on. Oh, volume is not on. Okay. Yeah, so sorry guys. Some people, whoever puts music blaring on a video, it just does my head in, honestly. So this is taken shortly before Thursday. And as you can see here, I would say those are drones. That's helicopters. That's definitely helicopter. I tell you, have I got one that's actually got... No. Sorry, guys. I don't think I've...
But they're going in there.
Okay. Right, let's look at this one more time. It's a shame there's no sound on this one, because the one I found had music on it. I don't want to get a copyright. I would say that these... You got 3 helicopters, and these objects are not flashing their lights, but it looks like a decoy. I would say that these are most likely drones. I'm going out on a whim here. Yeah, well, that's flashing. I'm surprised these helicopters are not actually got an sort of beacon to actually indicate it's actually in the air. Because the only one is that there. Oh, that's hard to see, isn't it? I would say they're drones. My personal opinion. Or some sort of anti-gravity craft. Interesting. It's quite bright, isn't it, when you look at it? They're quite bright lights. What do you think, chat? Drones, UAPs, TR-3Bs, drones racing. Yeah, pretty much like that. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, my guess would be drones, mate. AI controlled drones. I think we're there now, mate, aren't there? Skynet lives. Oh, Skynet. Yes, that rings a bell. That does ring a bell. There is always to do anti-gravity. Trouble is that it melts everything it touches. A guy named John Hutchison. Yes, I know John Hutchison. You would know him, Rotary. John Hutchison was able to demonstrate it in a few times. He had help keep him alive. Yeah, John Hutchison. That's the guy who dresses like a woman now, I think. Rotary, John Hutchison. That's the guy who can melt steel. He was to do with the buildings disintegrating. I think John Hutchison. Yeah. Oh, what's we got on here? Weather drone, maybe. Yeah, it's who knows what these drones actually do? This is it. It's so tricky. Hutchison effect. Yes, like 911. That's it. So yeah, I was right. Yeah, it was yeah, John Hutchison. That's it. So who knows, guys, about these flying objects? I would honestly say that these are drones. There is a video here. Let's bring this up.
But they're going in there.
You're gonna go right out the tree.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
I got it. Look, there they are.
but
Can you hear it? You can hear the helicopters.
You're gonna go right out the trees. There they go.
Oh,
I got it. Look, there they are.
but they're going in there.
Look. You're gonna go right out the trees. There they go.
Oh,
Right, okay. So there's obviously something military involved with this then. If we're saying that these are drones, you've got a decoy here. So there's something military going on. So what is the administration not telling us? Because I'm not believing that these are for surveillance. I think there's a much more bigger project going on that they're not telling us about. And I'm not buying that, the fact that these are for like surveillance drones or the official explanation for these drones are. I just transparency. There's your transparency, guys. What's this? Investigate Earth podcast. Yeah, great podcast, guys. Go check them out. Investigate Earth podcast. I was listening to them this morning. Let's have a little look at this. So this is from a listener who sent this in to Investigate podcast. Listen to our fog episode. Yeah, the fog episode. That was interesting. Which, bear in mind, did make me ill as well. So you're not the only one. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate, but you could say that looks like a planet because you do have that like white sheen. Remember the cirrostratus, that white haze that pierced the landscape, or it could be fog, or it could be the trails in the sky that spread out. I don't know. But you got something on the left-hand side there. But it's quite big, isn't it? That's what she said. Interesting. So there you go. That's another ball of light. Add to the category of many balls of light. Right, last one before we get to the ghosts.
Let's see if I can get it on camera.
Can you zoom yours?
Yours
zooms.
No, it doesn't. All right, there it is. I got it on camera.
Oh my
God.
Can you zoom in more?
There's a cloud. And there's a flying saucer.
No strings on it, no ropes on it, like it busted loose from a car.
There's the houses down here.
Photos online, Cole.
And go back up to where the flying saucer is.
You zoom in enough, Dad?
I don't know if I'm getting it or not.
Oh, the top is even metallic-y, so like aluminum. Whoever's flying it, they're flying like something. I think it's somebody's like remote control, don't you think? No, that's.
It's so far away, I don't know if I'm getting it.
Cole, you know where my camera is on this thing? Off this mobile calendar. Can't get it, Mom. I can't. It zooms a lot.
Balloon, yeah. I'll be honest with you. That kind of looks like a balloon.
See if I can get a better picture of it. Where is it?
It's quite windy. You can hear it in the video. Bear in mind, at that altitude...
It's so far away. I can't... Oh, there it is.
It's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? Yeah, it mimics a balloon, a flying saucer.
It must be about 3,000 feet up now, I'd say. Wow, look at that. Nobody's going to believe us except I got it on film, huh? I keep losing it. There it is.
I can't get it.
I want to see this object disappear.
There goes a jet right by it. Well, a little higher. There's the jet. And there's the saucer.
Holy crap.
I got a better view of it now.
I know.
Wow.
I think I'll have to agree with Rotary on that one. I think it looks like a balloon, to be honest. Yeah.
About 3,000.
It's so wild these days, guys. It's like you can get someone who just wants to play a prank. I mean, people were doing that during the drone situation. Because remember that? Someone put like a balloon and they put like 3 lights on it and they sent it up and it looks like a drone, It looked like a UFO, so to speak. So you got to take that into consideration as well. Possibly is a balloon that just got loose. It seems just to linger in that one area, which I find a bit odd. I mean, you can hear it. It was quite windy in the video. So that would have been blown all over the place. But yeah, Rebecca, it does look like a balloon spinning around. Yeah, it does. Jamie, what you're saying there, bruv? It's not flying anywhere though. It's just static. So balloon. Yeah. Again, it's hard to tell what a balloon that shape or that size would do in 2,000 feet up in the air. Because remember, you know, where we are down on the ground, the altitude a few thousand feet up would be completely different. The winds would be more intense. You can hear it in the video, but it's tricky, man. I mean, I could do an experiment like that. I could do actually. Bit of fun experiment, just like create mass panic. I can get my my alien blow up doll and stick it on a balloon and then send it up. that's send people in an absolute frenzy. Oh god. So yeah, I think that is everything in terms of UFOs. I thought that was more or less decent because I could show balls of light, but we've always seen balls of light before. Yeah, Red Panda Koala, he mentioned something about Annalou Paluna is going to be, although she's part of a new program with Steven Spielberg called Disclosure. I'm not too sure. As I say, time will tell. Or maybe that's what the big thing was talking about. Spielberg's new movie, UFO Disclosure. Oh, really? That's going to be a barrel of laughs, isn't it? Right, let's get at Twitter. Let's get at Twitter. And we're going to finish off with some ghost photos. These are pretty good. These are pretty good. Where are you two? Oh, there you are. Fantastic. Because here on Alien Addict, we like to look into, I won't say conspiracies, go to Daily Conspiracy Podcast for that one, but we will go into like UFOs, aliens, and the paranormal, and all the strange stuff in between. So there we go. Right, so this is the page I was talking about, guys, about the ghost phenomenon, and people have been posting there. It's called Paranormal Sightings on Facebook. If you want to go check that out, you can go ahead. Should I read this or should I not? Okay, I'm not going to read it because I'm always make myself look like a right tit. But if you pay attention to this photograph here, look at the top one. You're going to look where this gentleman is, and you want to pay attention to the left-hand side. And then the second photograph, you got this on the side here. Okay, so obviously they're two separate photographs. You got this entity. It's got no legs. It's definitely floating. It almost looks like a full body apparition, so to speak. I thought that was really interesting to find. And it is in a cemetery as well, which is where I found ghosts in a cemetery near me, and other places as well. But I thought that was pretty cool. Look at that. Mick West is like, it's a balloon. Right, here's the second one. So this photo was taken during a break at a nursing home, which was originally a primary school in the UK. Look at this. I was always saying, right, about, for instance, this figure here. If you ever taken a photograph and you've had a shutter speed on it, right? So what will happen, the shutter speed will actually lighten up the contrast of the photograph. So for instance, if I was at night right now and I had my camera out, if I put the shutter speed to either high or low, which other way, it will actually lighten up basically lighten up the sky. But if you walked past it, right, you get this distorted effect. So it almost looks like a full body apparition. Not saying this is what it looks like, but it kind of looks like that. The only thing I will dismiss, the fact that this is you can see the background here is a still footage. It's not blurry at all. The person who was taking this photograph, just take this scenario, for instance, would say to this kid, right, just walk past the camera really, really slowly. I'm going to hold the camera still. And you could potentially get that effect. But again, it's a very clear photograph from the background here, especially with the table and the chair and the floor, especially the armchair is very, very clear, as you can see. But yeah, we've got this figure here, almost childlike figure. Crazy. And there's another one. The owner of this photograph shared that it was taken in the jail where Joseph Smith was held before his death in, oh, what is that? Somewhere in America. That's interesting. Now, orbs, I've shown pictures of orbs before. My personal opinion, right? I think orbs, see-through orbs, okay, the ones you can actually see through it, I think that's either pollution or dust. That's my personal opinion on that. I've got so many photographs of orbs, like you won't bloody believe. I think the spiritual orbs are the ones that got the contextualized look inside. You know, they're very, very colorful. What I would say is that the rain can play an effect with that, which I'm actually going to show you a photograph in a minute. So I think spiritual orbs is more colorful, more contextualized, more solid in matter. That's my personal opinion. When you go into a gel and you're going to take a photograph with a flash, you will get dust particles. And I'm not denying that these dust particles can show up in the camera, because it can, okay? But nevertheless, it's, I mean, for instance, it could be ectoplasm, but it's in the shape of a figure, of a full, what we call a full body apparition, or it could be pareidolia. So pareidolia means that you can see something and be like, oh, that kind of looks like a person. It's a bit like when you look up at a cloud, you'd be like, oh, that looks like a penis. Or like, for instance, like this. I'm going to show you something. This is like that. Oh, that looks like a penis, because I can see the cock and balls and you know, the long dong there. So it's like, that's pareidolia, right? That's what I mean by that. Is this last one? Oh no, got two more actually. So this, I thought this was hilarious. Either these builders are playing a joke. This photo by a worker from whatever that's called, construction in 2008. Despite a house that was undergoing construction, the home owner had passed away 3 months prior to the photograph being taken, and the house was vacated at the time. What's your thought on this? I don't know. I think that's well, that's the ghost. No, that's it there. I don't know, man. That looks pretty bloody good, doesn't it? That looks pretty damn good for a ghost apparition. Too good to be true, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I'm guessing that's an old lady. Kind of reminds me of like the old lady from The Shining. You know, the one that comes out of the bathtub all naked and wrinkly. Oh God, I remember seeing that as a kid. That's creepy. Kind of reminds me of that. Saggy tits everywhere. Oh God, right. That's scaring me now. Let's get out of that. Right, last one. This is the last one for the day, guys. All right. What is this? What is that? Now, it makes you think, right? Okay, why was she taking a picture of this area here? What was the point of it? Was she, I mean, she should put this in description. You know, I felt like this apparition in the room, so I took this photograph. Seems quite deliberate, isn't it, to take a picture in that certain area? Let's just zoom in a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to make out. I mean, the dog there doesn't seem to be bothered. I mean, bear in mind, my cat can see like stuff. Like he always looks at me, looks away, looks at someone else, and looks back. So my cat definitely sees something. There's definitely a black shadow in our in the hallway there. Especially when I take like mushrooms, I can see it. It's terrifying. But you can see it like the corner of your eye. People say, "Oh no, that's just your mind's playing tricks on you." I'm like, nah, definitely something there. Because even the missus says the same thing as well. So yeah, this is quite interesting. Almost like a full body apparition of a child. Who knows? It's a very still photograph. Again, nothing's blurred. I mean, the dog's a little bit blurred, but with the cabinet and the bed side here, it's pretty much in focus. But why was she taking a picture in this certain area? Who knows? She probably just like fiddling with the camera. She probably got a new phone and was like, right, let's just try out the camera. And she managed to capture this. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. So that is the best UFO footage I can find on the internet. So yeah, I think that's everything. Let's bring up chat. Got to nearly 2 hours. Lovely. I'd like to see something like pushed and smudged button in paint shop. Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's. Yeah, the one thing I have noticed, right, with people that take videos and especially like photographs, everyone puts their finger over like the camera lens here and it smudges it, and you can easily tell. But I'm not saying now that this is the case here, but that can distort the photograph when it's taken. Same with my dog. Yeah, animals got like that. They got that sixth sense. They got it. They can definitely see something. I mean, definitely pay attention to it. I mean, I always check out my cat, and I don't know. I'll tell you what. If I see something strange, my cat's doing something abnormal, I'll do a video on it. I'll take some photographs just to see. You never know what you're going to find. You know, when it comes to like ghost hunting, guys, and like sky watching, which I do a lot. I do a lot of sky watching. I have done since I've been filming the skies 24/7. I mean, I'm a gardener by trade, so I'm always looking up in the sky to see what the weather's like. You know what I mean? And plus, I quite like looking up in the sky. It's quite therapeutic for me. I quite like it, especially when you can actually see the sun, which would be nice. Where you get very, very rare we see the sun. I mean, the only day was nice was like the other day, like yesterday, clear blue sky for the whole day. It's absolutely beautiful. But when you do ghost hunting and sky watching, just keep doing it. You ain't gonna find ghosts straight away like that. I mean, some people that are new to like ghost hunting and they take a photo of a ghost, it's just a bit like a fluke. It's like a one-off. You're in the right moment at the right time. So when you go to a paranormal place or haunted location, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Eventually you will find something. Something will crop up. You just got to keep doing it. I've been looking up in the sky for UFOs and I haven't seen anything yet, but I will at some point. I even if it's like a ball of light or something like that, it takes a lot of time and you've got to have dedication into it. But it's when people are like new to, like, for instance, going to like ghost hunting. So, well, I went to this paranormal location and I didn't see a ghost. It's like, yeah, but you ain't going to see, don't expect miracles straight away. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you got to keep doing it. If you've got the passion, you've got the love for it, just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing it. And eventually you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Mother Teresa. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, good one, John. Good one. Let's go through chat. Same 99% dust. Yeah, it's a tricky one, mate. I mean, this is just me going on a whim here, mate. You know, I could do proper analysis into like what creates orbs. I mean, the dust can be so far away from the camera when the flash is taken where it might give off the colors and everything like that. I'm not too sure. Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll show you a proper ghost photo, my ghost photo that I taken back in 2008, I think. Let's bring it up here. 2 seconds, guys. I've got my folder here with all my ghost photos and everything. Let's bring that one up. Because I'm going to show you what a raindrop looks like. Okay, so if you're out at the moment doing ghost hunting, not at this moment in time, but if you go out ghost hunting and it's actually raining, let's take that banner off actually. Okay, right. So this was taken by moi back in, I can't remember, like 2008 or something like that. Well, I used to do like a lot of ghost hunting. So this was taken in a cemetery. Right. Notice first things first, guys. Right. Everything is blurred. Okay. It's not really in focus. The only thing that's in focus is that there. Okay. Do you know what that is? That's a raindrop. Raindrops, they move in a different way. And I've noticed this as well. Look at the color of it. You got a yellow and you got purple. That is a typical raindrop. And I've got so many photographs of that. And I can clarify now that's a raindrop, okay? Because I remember that day it was actually like just spitting, you know, it wasn't necessarily heavy rain because that would be all over the place. It was just like, it just caught. So that is definitely a raindrop, okay? Skeptic Nick here. But what you see here, that the background is very blurred. It's not really in focus. Right, check this out. Pay attention to this bit here. I'm going to zoom in. So you got another little orb there. This, I want to go back to the cemetery, to the same place, and find out what that is. Look at that. So we've got the grave here, and look, the shadow, or not shadow, the apparition is over the grave. Look, it's like a full body apparition. And it's what do you think about that? I mean, it looks cool, I have to admit. It's definitely something. Bear in mind the photograph is out of focus. They're looking at me. I bloody hope not, mate. Probably followed me home. Followed me home, Pete. So that's my personal photograph that I caught back years ago. It's hard to tell. I want to go back. I'll probably go back Sunday and go back to the same location and see if I could. I hate to use the word debunk, but it's to say, right, okay, what can I go with? What can I work out that might make this sort of effect? But what got me, guys, I thought there might have been, like, for instance, a gravestone behind this. For instance, you got a cross here, and this cemetery has a lot of like gravestones, like the big plaque that comes out. So I thought that might be it. But it's over the grave. Look, it's over it. So who knows? Full body apparition? Time will tell. I'll definitely have a little look later on over the weekend if I've got time. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the third show for Alien Addict. I do appreciate every single one of you being here. Again, I'm sorry if it's like all over the place. I need to like stick to like one subject and really stick to it. But I like to like go down different avenues, you know. I'm trying to bombard you with as much information that I can. And yeah, I think that's it. Let me just check my notes one more time. Nope, that is it. So I've been speaking to Ollie, and I will definitely get Ollie, Lee, and Dave back for a show. It's going to be me for the time being. Well, for now on, actually. I know people don't really like that. People say, "Oh, I miss Ollie." Don't listen to Daily Conspiracy Podcast. They're every single day. But don't worry, they will be back on, guys. Trust me on that. Like I said, I've been speaking to Ollie. I pretty much speak to him every couple of days. As we are friends, by the way. We are friends. He's been helping me a lot with the shows and everything. This is still like new to me. I'm still trying to get my feet in the right place and everything. But hey, time will tell. Next week, I want Hidden to come on. So I'm going to speak to him, Hidden Underbelly. I'm going to get him on because we always have a good laugh. And we're going to have a good chat as well. So that will be for next week. And I'll go into the Rendlesham Forest as well for that. So you can always look forward to that. And please check out Simon Holland's video that I've put in the chat box there. Also, I need to mention that I will be going twice a week. Probably not next week, but the week after. I need to figure out what day I'm going to do it. I might do a weekday, probably like a Wednesday. And then I'll be going on a weekend, which is I'm going to say is going to be on a Saturday. Okay. But I'll keep everyone up to check on that. And sort of, because I've got to work things out with my girlfriend, you know, I've got to keep her happy as well. You know, it's been 12-year relationship and I don't want to like mess it up. You know what I mean? And she's got to have a bit of time for my time, you know what I mean? So yeah, that will be pretty much coming up pretty much soon. So until next time, if you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe and spread the word. Absolutely spread the word. We'll be back next week for another show that might change your life. That's right. Thanks to everyone in chat. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Sheepop, thank you so much. Rotary Motion, let's just go through the chat. Jamie Kennedy, thank you. Rebecca, thank you so much for being here. As always. Peter, thank you, brother. Godstopper, thank you. AOI 2012, thanks for being here. DW, much appreciated. What else we got here? TE McLeod Wise, thank you. I hope I said your name right. Let's just go for the chat one more time. Let's have a little look. I think now, Science Evidence Fringe. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. So always remember this. Until next time. They're watching you, watching us, watching them. See you, folks. Have a good weekend. And I shall see you soon on another episode of Alien Addict. Take care. Go check them out. The Daily Conspiracy Podcast, Monday to Friday, because reptilians don't take days off. See you soon, folks. See you soon.